Sian Clifford plays Anna Bennett in the Netflix comedy series Unstable. I'm Matt Noble of Gold Derby, and I wanted to kick things off, Sian, by asking you, what is the thing that keeps you stable while acting in Unstable?
Oh, great question. Wasn't expecting that one. What keeps me stable? I think my castmates and a good vibe on set is, I think, always helps, because you can just get on with the job when like you're enjoying each other's company and things like that. So I think, yeah, that's my number one, and showing up prepared, of course.
What helps you prepare for like when you're approaching a scene or one of the episodes of the show?
For me, I learn it like the back of my hand. I drill my lines so that if they throw us a curveball, even if the line changes, it helps me if I know the scene like as intimately as possible. And also, in case your castmate doesn't remember their lines in a moment, you can be just on top of things and on top of the story, so you can bounce off each other. So yeah, that's my that's my very boring top tip. Yeah.
In the like, your character has a lot to do with Rob Lowe's character Ellis,
Yeah.
and in the first scene or the first episode, your character says to him, "I can see why people believe in you." Why do you think Anna believes in him?
I think because no one's got a brain like him.
Mm.
And he sees the world in a completely different way, and that's why he comes up with the ideas that he does and why he's such an incredible innovator. So I think while she loses a lot of patience with him as a colleague, she can't help but also be enthralled by him, because no one can do what he does.
Mm. And with this character, with this performance, what's something you're getting to do that you've never gotten to do before in acting?
Um, Great question again. For me, there's something very high octane about Anna. I've played like quite a few stressed women, I would say, highly strong women. And she is that, but she does it with like a smile. And yeah, there's just something a little bit unhinged about her as well. And I think there is about all of the characters in this show. In like a whole ensemble is sort of tapping into that instability in each of us in some way. And so you particularly see that, for example, with Anna's fan fiction, that there's so much going on under the surface. And I just think there's a sort of wildness to her, that I haven't got to play before. And I think they really sort of jumped onto that as we were working on the show, and the writers sort of started writing to that for me, definitely.
I think, like, yeah, she's got this real like wildness to her, especially with the fan fiction stuff. At the same time, like the way she presents herself at work is very on top of things, and there's sort of a like, I don't know if stoicism's the right word, but like, how do you, when you're approaching her in these scenes, like convey different emotions when it is a character that it doesn't try to show a lot in the workplace?
I mean, I honestly approach all characters exactly the same, which is it sounds kind of cliched, I guess, but for me, I have to just absolutely be in it as it's unfolding. So I just have to imagine completely and utterly that I am that person. And so whatever then comes out and comes to the surface is just as a result of whoever I'm in the scene with, or how what's been written, what I've been given to say, what she's allowed to sort of express. So I always just I really trust in the material, and I trust in my fellow actor, and I trust my creative team, and I just sort of, yeah, I really, for me, it's all about feeling it internally, like feeling the energy of the character almost. And then once you're in the scene, again, this is why I love to be really on top of my lines, because then I can just let rip and play and see what happens when you're in the scene.
Yeah, she does at one point. She's got the exact right level of agitation. What
Yeah.
is the exact right level of agitation for Anna? And is it the same as the exact right level of agitation for you, Sean?
Well, I think it's that, well, particularly when she's talking to Ellis then, and I think she's sort of saying, I think she's, you know, what I love about their dynamic is even though he is her boss, they definitely feel like equals to me.
Mm.
And I think she's just reminding him of his place in that instance. And so, you know, she's allowed to be angry with him because he's being ridiculous. So that for me is the exact right level of agitation where it's absolutely justified. She's not being unreasonable at all.
Yeah. They do have just such a lovely dynamic. There's that great episode where they realize that they might actually be friends.
Yeah.
Like with you and Rob acting together, how do you serve each other in those scenes?
Well, that was something that really grew, obviously, on set. I'd never met him before this job, and I am like the biggest Parks and Rec fan on the planet. And so it was a very surreal experience initially. I mean, those first few scenes, like the first scene literally where you meet Anna, where she's going into the work kitchen and is talking to Rob. I had like an out of body experience and I could not get my lines out. I just couldn't. I completely froze. I've never ever experienced that before. And it wasn't until a couple of days later when I processed it that I realized I was just like fully starstruck. Like I was like, oh, that's what that was. So I think initially there was a bit of that, like having to get to know each other on the job. But Rob is such a pro that he really puts you at your ease and you just get on with it. And then eventually, as you sort of learn more about their relationship through the series, we really, really did start to sort of lean on each other. I think after we'd done the episode that you're referring to, we had such an incredible rapport. And the scene actually where we shot, where I don't want to spoil anything, but we're in a car and we pull up to the twins' house very late at night, and that was when we really, really found our groove with each other, and we're having a lot of fun. And there was a bit of improvisation, and once you've had that and shared that with a coworker, like in any scenario, like you really start to trust each other, and you trust each other's different way of working and different rhythms. And so, yeah, I mean, I really hope we get to do more because I feel like we definitely found our groove right in the middle. And yeah, it's really fun. It's a really, really fun dynamic to play.
Mm. Do you have a favorite scene in the show, or even line that Anna says?
Do you know what? I actually love the scene in the pilot with Johnny and me, where he's like plonked on the sofa in front of me and I sort of speak at him for 5 minutes. Yeah. Johnny and I have like amazing chemistry off screen. I wouldn't like to speak for on, but I think it's great. Yeah, we just clicked, you know, and you just meet a friend and you're just like, oh, love this person so much. And so yeah, doing that scene, we just had so much fun. And that really helped me find the character of Anna. That scene was when something really clicked for me. And it was just it was one of those days on set when everyone was just like, yes, yeah, like it just suddenly felt like it was working. And so I really love that scene, and I feel like it plays really well, actually. So I was really glad it came out as well as I had hoped when we were doing it, because often that isn't the case at all. So yeah, I'm going to say that scene, that was a favorite moment. And also I got to say, when we were filming with Fred Armisen,
yeah,
and Johnny and I actually, I mean, he was starstruck. He could not get his lines out, and we were both just standing there just going, we're terrible, we just need to let this guy do his thing. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. Another lovely moment.
Yeah, such a perfect character for Fred Armisen just
Oh my
to
God,
play in this
amazing.
world.
Just joy, a joy.
How much are you like Anna? Are you a lot like Anna? Are you different to Anna?
Wow, how much am I willing to admit here?
As much as you
I
like.
think I think I was a lot more like her a few years ago. I do think I'm a very logical person.
Mm.
I obviously have my creative side, but I'm very organized. I'm very fastidious. I think I probably definitely share her work ethic and maybe a bit of her impatience. And I want people to do their job properly. So yeah, there were lots of things about her that I could relate to, but I don't think I'm quite as insane as her. Maybe I'm more. If I think I'm less, I'm probably more. There we go.
You're not at the exact same level of sanity that she is. Either a little more or a little less, but not the exact same.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Have you learned anything from this role and performance about yourself or about acting or comedy?
Definitely. I definitely learned from Rob. Like, there's no question you can't be in the presence of someone that has been acting for 40 years. And especially comedy, like that is like it's such a definitive skill that he has. So there's no question. Yeah. I learned how to deal with being completely overwhelmed and starstruck. And I learned I think I learned how to be a bit better at my job. And we also shot the series in a particular way, so there were things I learned about camera technique that I definitely didn't know before. That's a very boring thing, but and I also, and perhaps this was because I was listening to the Parks and Rec podcast right before I was doing the job, but like when you're creating a new comedy, especially a sitcom, I feel like there's so much world building that has to happen. And so you just sort of have to, again, be patient with the process of that. So when something is so new, that was a completely different way of working for me. And I've never done a US show before, so I haven't had, these writers' rooms and basically huge swathes of people around, but it felt very collaborative. It was a lot of fun.
It's cool. Yeah, well, like as a Parks and Rec fan, you're probably like tempted when you saw like Rob the first time. Rob Lowe, Sian Clifford, like the old Chris Traeger move. Of saying full names. The now you were like, this is your, as you say, your first US sort of comedy, but you're a big part of Fleabag. We're an awards website, a Gold Derby. You got an Emmy nomination in 2019 when the show just did so well at the comedy awards. Sort of didn't win every single category, but it did very well across the board. Yeah. What have you taken from Fleabag? Like, what's something you appreciate from that you carry with you and that informs the way you approach your new role?
In terms of the aftermath or the actual shooting of Fleabag?
I think the whole sort of experience, what you learnt from Fleabag, maybe the shooting of it, but you can take it however you want, Sean.
Well, the shooting of it is like a completely different thing. And to be honest, I feel like we shot it as a drama. And it is very funny. And I feel like it's one of those very modern comedies that is right on the edge. And I think that's contributed to its success. Because I feel like people were craving that sort of depth and darkness in their comedy. And that's so right place, right time for sure. And then in terms of the whole sort of explosive thing, that was just, I mean, it still feels like a bit of a dream. It was a protracted dream nonetheless. I mean, it would, because the award season, especially in America, is so extensive.
Yeah.
So yes, surreal, wonderful, overwhelming, like all of the things really. And yeah, to just to not take any of it for granted, which I don't think we did. We had the best time. We really, really lapped it up. I mean, we never anticipated that would happen. We really believed in our project, and we really, we hope people like it, but you never you never know how things are going to go down. So yeah, to just really, yeah, lap it all up, and because it might never happen again. It's a very fickle industry, you know. So yeah.
Is there something from playing Claire on that show that you sort of carry with you into, you know, how you portray Anna? Like maybe not in terms of the same
100%.
character.
Yeah. I mean, both Rob and I were like pretty honest about the fact that we were like, we're gonna take as like those two characters, they belong somewhere within our characters in Unstable, not in their entirety. I do think they're different beings. Claire is stoic. I mean, Claire is a rock, and whereas Anna, I think, is much looser, and yeah, there is something genuinely more fun about Anna in the way that she expresses herself, I think. I don't mean as in fun to play. I mean, just as a human being, she allows herself to have fun more. You know, like she really enjoys the gospel choir that Ellis brings in for Jackson, and she really enjoys the flute solo. You know, she loves the Zumba. She's like, you know, I think she's a bit freer in herself in a way that Claire definitely wouldn't be. And then Rob, yeah, absolutely the same. He was like, yeah, I'm taking all the best bits from Chris. So, and we sort of talked about them having a kind of Ron and Leslie dynamic, but also that Ron and Leslie sort of reside inside Anna somehow. So yeah, there are moments. There's a moment where I say something about you can't have, what do I say? What's my line? Something about wins and twins. And it's a play on words. And he says, that's fantastic. And we were just like, it's just so Ron and Leslie, what just happened? So, and of course, you know, we've got Alison Becker in there playing a journalist. So that's a knowing nod. And another, that was an incredible moment for me. I mean, Rob especially came to tell me that news that she would be playing that character. So that was great. And I really hit it off with her. So that was awesome.
Do you, like, as an actor, as you take on different roles, you always like, are there things that you sort of carry or learn that like builds how you approach future characters always? Or are there more specific connections when there's just two characters that line up and you just go, oh, I can see some parallels here?
It's the latter,
okay.
Definitely. Yeah. It's just that and inevitably when someone's seen you in a role and they've enjoyed it, they want to see you in that role again. And you do have to be careful in terms of what you say yes to. But I had another friend who was like, don't say no to all of those parts just because they feel like in the same world as Claire, because you've also just got to, well, play to your strengths, number one, but also, you know, don't miss an opportunity basically because you think it's too similar. And there was absolutely no way that I wasn't going to jump at the chance to play Anna in this show. I mean, it's just an amazing gift. So
what is, like, when you're coming into a scene on this show, what is the energy of it, and what do you sort of love most about putting a scene together?
I think this show has like bags of energy. Actually, it feels like very joyfully an out and out US sitcom, and I feel like it's unapologetically American and unapologetically a comedy in a way that I don't feel like there's a lot of that around at the moment, because because comedy's been going in this different direction for the last few years. And so that was another thing that drew me to it. And what I love about being on that set is because you really get to take risks in a way that you can't do when it's a dramedy, you know, or you can, because as long as you're playing the truth, you can do whatever you want and you can be as big as you want. But it definitely felt, for me, it felt quite liberating, because the energy feels it's effusive and it's very effervescent, and you know, just like the palette of the show, it's very, very colorful, and like there's lots of pastels and there's lots of I don't know, it feels full of life, actually. So that's the energy I tried to bring to it, and definitely that I felt making it on set. So yeah.
Well, Sean, all the best of luck with the upcoming Emmy Awards. People can go to goldderby.com to make your awards predictions and watch other interviews with award contenders. And Sean, I appreciate your time. Even more than appreciate, I enjoyed it. Even more than enjoyed it. Actually, I relished it.
Ah, thank you so much.
No worries.
Thrilled.